Sarah Dixon's agonized screams echoed through the Lemnorian torture chamber as the twisted alien Captain Krell carved into her flesh, determined to extract the location of Earth's rumored ancient fleet by any means necessary. "This is a disaster," Wren said, his voice tight with barely restrained anger. The high-ranking Lemnorian diplomat paced the sleek black floor of the briefing room, his green skin flushed a sickly yellow. When Captain Krell captured that human girl from the Zeros colony, he had no idea what he was unleashing. Zoltar, the battle-hardened Lemnorian military strategist, leaned back in his chair, his red eyes narrowed. "What do you mean? I thought humans were a primitive species, barely capable of interstellar travel. How could one girl cause such a problem?" Wren stopped pacing and fixed Zoltar with a grave stare. "The girl's name is Sarah Dixon. Her father, John Dixon, is a former commander in the Earth Defense Force. He was living quietly on Zeros with his family when Krell's patrol captured Sarah. Now John has sent a message to Earth, pleading for help." Zoltar's eyes widened. "And Earth will respond?" "Without question," Wren said. "But that's not the worst part. For years there have been rumors that Earth possesses a hidden fleet of ancient warships, far more advanced than anything the Galactic Empire has encountered. If those rumors are true, and if the humans decide to activate that fleet in retaliation for Sarah's torture." A heavy silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. The Galactic Empire had always viewed Earth as a backwater planet, its inhabitants too primitive to pose a threat. But if the humans had been hiding their true capabilities all along— "Tell me everything," Zoltar said, leaning forward. "We need to know what we're up against." As Wren began to lay out the details of the unfolding crisis, one thing became crystal clear. The Galactic Empire had made a terrible mistake. They had provoked the humans, and now the fate of the entire galaxy hung in the balance. If the ancient fleet was as powerful as the rumors suggested, the Lemnorians might soon find themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had ever encountered before. An enemy with the technology and the will to shatter the Galactic Empire's hold on the stars, once and for all. Wren's voice trembled slightly as he continued his grim report. Earth's response was beyond anything we could have imagined. Within mere hours of receiving Dixon's distress call, the Earth Defense Force had deployed the Aegis fleet. 100 warships, each over 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that make our own look like children's toys. Zoltar's jaw dropped open. 2 kilometers and 100 of them? That's impossible. How could our intelligence networks have missed something on that scale? "I was just as shocked as you are," Wren admitted. "I always assumed the stories about the Aegis fleet were nothing more than myths and legends. Ancient human history speaks of a great war fought centuries ago, but I never dreamed they might have preserved the warships from that era." "What else do we know about these ships?" Zoltar demanded. "What are their capabilities?" Wren shook his head grimly. "The Aegis fleet is far more advanced than anything we've ever seen. Their hulls are constructed from an unknown alloy that our scans can't even penetrate. Our weapons are useless against them." Zoltar gripped the armrests of his chair until his knuckles turned white. "And their own weaponry?" "Like nothing we've ever encountered," Wren said. "But that's not the worst of it. The Aegis fleet's propulsion systems are beyond our understanding. They can cross vast distances in a matter of days. Our best ships would take weeks or even months to cover the same distance." Zoltar's mind raced as he tried to process the implications. If the humans had possessed this level of technology all along, why had they never used it before? What else might they be hiding? "There's more," Wren said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "The Aegis fleet has a single purpose: to rescue Sarah Dixon, no matter the cost, and they're being led by Admiral Marcus Riker, a legendary figure in Earth's military history. If even half the stories about him are true, we're facing an adversary unlike any we've ever known." Zoltar leaned forward, his eyes wide with fascination. "So what happened next? How did the rescue of Sarah Dixon unfold?" Wren took a deep breath, the memory of the events still fresh in his mind. When the Aegis fleet arrived at the Lemnorian outpost, they were met by an armada of over 500 Lemnorian warships. Our commanders, confident in their numerical advantage, demanded the humans' immediate surrender. Zoltar scoffed. I can imagine their surprise when the humans refused. Indeed, Wren nodded. Admiral Riker sent a message to our fleet giving them 1 hour to release Sarah Dixon or face the consequences. Our commanders laughed it off, believing it to be a hollow threat. They underestimated the humans, Zoltar remarked, shaking his head. Gravely so, Wren agreed. Exactly 1 hour later, the Aegis fleet opened fire. It was a sight I'll never forget. Their advanced weapons tore through our ships like they were made of paper. Our own weapons couldn't even scratch their shields. Zoltar's jaw dropped. How is that possible? I wish I knew, Wren said, his voice tinged with awe. Within hours, our entire armada was destroyed. Not a single human ship was lost. Incredible, Zoltar whispered, leaning back in his chair. And Sarah Dixon? Wren leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with excitement as he recounted the daring rescue. While the Aegis fleet engaged the Lemnorian armada in orbit, a small team of elite human soldiers had secretly infiltrated the outpost where Sarah Dixon was being held captive. Led by her father, John Dixon himself, the team used advanced stealth technology to slip past the Lemnorian defenses undetected. Zoltar's eyes widened in surprise. John Dixon was part of the rescue mission? I thought he was just a retired commander living on a colony world. That's what we all believed, Wren said, nodding. But it seems Dixon's loyalty to his daughter and his skills as a soldier were as strong as ever. He and his team made their way through the outpost, avoiding patrols and security systems with ease. When they finally reached the detention area, however, they found Sarah in a dire state. Zoltar leaned forward, his brow furrowed with concern. What do you mean? What had the Lemnorians done to her? Wren's expression darkened. Captain Krell's interrogation methods were brutal. Sarah was barely clinging to life when her father found her. Fortunately, John Dixon was a trained medic. He quickly stabilized his daughter's condition while the rest of the team kept watch for any signs of trouble. And what of their escape? Zoltar asked, his voice tinged with anticipation. It wasn't easy, Wren admitted. As the team made their way back to the extraction point with Sarah in tow, they encountered heavy resistance from the Lemnorian guards, but the human soldiers' superior training and advanced weaponry proved too much for our forces. They fought their way out of the outpost, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Zoltar sat back in his chair, a look of amazement on his face. The skill and bravery of these human warriors is truly impressive. But tell me, Wren, what happened after the rescue? How did this event change the balance of power in the galaxy? Wren's expression turned somber as he revealed the bittersweet outcome of the incident. The rescue of Sarah Dixon and the display of human military prowess sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy, he said, his voice heavy with emotion. The Galactic Empire, realizing they had grossly underestimated humanity's capabilities, quickly withdrew from all human-controlled territories. The fear of retribution from the Aegis fleet was enough to keep the Lemnorians and other hostile species at bay. Zoltar nodded, his eyes wide with understanding. I can only imagine the impact this must have had on the balance of power in the galaxy. Indeed, Wren agreed. However, the cost of victory was high. Sarah, despite receiving the best medical care available, succumbed to her injuries a few days after the rescue. Her death dealt a devastating blow to John Dixon and the entire human race. Zoltar's expression softened, his voice filled with genuine sympathy. I am deeply sorry for their loss, to have fought so hard to save her, only to lose her in the end. It must have been heartbreaking. It was, Wren confirmed, his eyes downcast. The Aegis fleet, having fulfilled its purpose, returned to its hidden location, ready to defend humanity once more if needed. But the loss of Sarah Dixon weighed heavily on all of them. Zoltar leaned back in his chair, his brow furrowed in thought. The Galactic Empire's arrogance and cruelty brought about its own downfall, he remarked. They underestimated the humans and paid the price. Wren nodded in agreement. The incident served as a harsh lesson for all species in the galaxy, he said, his voice firm with conviction. The humans, despite their advanced technology and military might, had never sought to conquer or dominate others. They had only acted in defense of one of their own. As the conversation drew to a close, Ren and Zoltar reflected on the profound impact the humans had made on the galaxy. The Galactic Empire, and indeed all species, would do well to remember the consequences of underestimating and provoking the humans, Ren said, his eyes meeting Zoltar's. Agreed, Zoltar replied, his voice filled with a newfound respect for the human race. The tale of Sarah Dixon's sacrifice and the activation of the Aegis fleet will forever be etched in the annals of galactic history, a testament to the indomitable human spirit and the lengths they will go to protect their own. The two sat in silence for a moment, each lost in their own thoughts. The galaxy had been forever changed by the events that had unfolded, and the repercussions would be felt for generations to come. The humans had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with, and that they would stop at nothing to defend their own. Ren leaned forward, his expression pensive. You know, Zoltar, I can't help but wonder what would have happened if the Lemnorians had simply left the humans alone, he mused. If they hadn't captured Sarah Dixon, if they hadn't provoked the humans into action. Zoltar shook his head. It's a pointless speculation, he said, his voice tinged with regret. The Lemnorians, and by extension the Galactic Empire, made a grave error in judgment. They underestimated the humans, and they paid the price. But perhaps, in the end, it was a necessary lesson for us all. Ren nodded slowly, his eyes distant. Perhaps you're right, he agreed. The galaxy will never be the same, but maybe, just maybe, it will be a better place because of what happened. A place where species think twice before resorting to violence and oppression. A place where the value of life is held in higher regard. One can only hope, Zoltar said, his voice heavy with the weight of the future. But one thing is certain, the humans have earned their place among the stars, and they will not be underestimated again. Ren's lips curved into a small smile, his eyes glinting with a newfound respect for the species that had once been dismissed as primitive and weak. No, they will not, he agreed. The humans have shown us the true meaning of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds of family. They have taught us a valuable lesson, one that we would be wise to remember. As the two sat in contemplative silence, the weight of the galaxy's future hung heavy in the air. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The humans had changed everything, and the galaxy would never be the same again. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.